Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back with the Straight Rob and Joe and Chris.
Yes. Felt the need to clarify.
Yeah, had to go ahead and say that one again. Rob, thank you very much.
You should be secure in your masculinity. It should not be an issue for you.
Absolutely, right?
Well, anyway, our next guest, of course, is with Sitterly. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's correct. Sitterly Homes.
And it's Steve Vaughn Hoff. Not Van Hoff. Don't say that.
Vaughn Hoff.
And you're a builder.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can say it either way. And just for the record, Doug, I, and Todd are all straight too. So.
Well, we got that settled.
That's right.
Okay.
You bet.
I know Doug. I knew Susie wasn't worried.
Oh.
Anyway,
Gosh.
so talk about your building career. How'd you get in the building side of it, and where'd you start, and how'd you end up here?
Well, I grew up around home building with my father. He was a carpenter and lived in Ann Arbor, and so big Michigan man.
Absolutely.
So I moved to Texas when the rest of Michigan did. In the early
lights
80s.
played at that time. They said, "Last person in Michigan, please turn out the lights."
That's right. That's right. So I came down here in the early 80s, and I studied at a university construction management. Got my first home building job here. Making about $1,400 a month, and it was phenomenal.
Were tall cotton.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, and it's been a great career, been great 30 years, and I've been blessed enough to start my own company in 2012 called Sitterly Homes. We've been in business for 50 years in San Antonio, Austin, now Houston, and Doug afforded us the opportunity to go into one of these great Johnson communities that I've been building in before with other brands, and worked with Linda in the past, and matter of fact, she and I are doing a real estate deal in Imperial at Sugarland with a buyer.
With one of the great ones we talked about right there, really neat. That community we talked about, we didn't go in depth, but it was really neat because the old Imperial Sugar, was there, and then they've got the Skeeters and some great building going on. What are you doing?
Skeeters.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing building wise? What are you seeing clients want in their homes nowadays?
Well, first of all, we're selling a specialty product, which is a patio garden home, and it's one of the biggest buyer segments in the market and growing.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be the baby boomer retiring is the next 15 years is going to be the biggest demographic, and so with these great family-oriented communities that have been around for so long, now you're finding buyers that are moving down. And they want a smaller home to entertain, more amenities in the home, and less maintenance on the exterior. Even have the lawn maintenance taken care of for them. And so it's been a phenomenal market for us. And Imperial has just exploded. Cross Creek now is really taken off for us with the Katy area. People are moving out of Cinco. They want out of Cinco, and they're moving to Cross Creek and want to be near their grandkids because their families are out here, but now they're looking to downsize.
And that's what I was going to say. We're seeing a lot of those communities as they're getting bigger. The grandparents want to be close, but they don't want to be living with the children per se. So they're getting into these, courtyard type, townhome type community, sections within these larger developments, and they're able to stay close and yet not have all the maintenance and upkeep and expense associated with it.
Absolutely. That's a big part of it. It gives you a lock and leave feel so that you don't have to worry about your home. You could run your home with your iPhone and somebody's mowing your yard and your neighbors are watching out for you, and you've got your cameras and your alarm system. So you really, can leave as much as you want and come back, and it's still all good and good to go.
So the other thing that I see
ask
is...
a real quick question about
Yes.
about the configuration of the homes before we get on to the next subject, which is, are they mostly one-story or 1.5-story homes?
Most of our garden plans are 1-story with a bonus room option, which is typically either bedroom, media, game room with a full bath up. So it's a real flexible room. You can take and put guests up there, or you can put the grandkids up there, or we also have the first floor can be 2-bedroom study. That second bedroom can configure into a what we call a casa de la nona, which is where you put your mother-in-law.
Casa de la Nonna. Down at the Hampton Inn down the street.
Yes. I like Casa de la Nonna. That's really neat. Nonna is a very. I grew up in Mexico all my life, so Nonna is a very. It's sort of like saying mama, or something like that, or grandma in Spanish. So it's really neat. I like that.
Yeah.
The other thing I've seen, and this is something that you're building like this, is when you walk into your homes, though, you're not seeing them as being smaller homes. They're actually extremely spacious on the inside. I mean, one of the things that I tell everybody is the new concepts that you're building under are really open. They're these open concepts, a lot of space. You don't feel any confinement when you're in there. And that's, are you seeing some of the development continue to move in that area when it comes to home building?
Yeah, absolutely. The volume's incredible.
Yep.
Well, let's speak on Steve's behalf. He's got 50% off today out there.
I got all choked up there.
This is an emotional subject.
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
right. The volume's incredible. A 10-foot ceiling is probably our lowest ceiling in the house, and with the family rooms being anywhere from 12 to 14 and vaulted, and entries are expansive, and it just, when you walk into a home that you're thinking is going to be small, and then all of a sudden you walk into it and it just comes to life. I mean, our 50 and 55-foot lot program has kitchens that could go in a 70 or 80-foot home.
Yep.
Wow.
And the kitchens nowadays, one of the things that we're seeing as far as that, they're the focal points of a lot of homes nowadays. So what you've really taken is even though it's a smaller home, quote unquote, it's still, you go in there, you can still do all the entertainment, you can still have all the openness, you can do all the cooking, all the living that you do around the kitchen is still there.
That's right. That's right.
And we talk about, and I've said this for probably 30 years, that no one ever buys a whole home. They always buy a part of the home. And if you put all your focus on the kitchen and the baths, and that's what they buy. There's one component that really kind of grabs them at a visceral level to make that purchase decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a wide variety of appliance selections, depending on if they want a show kitchen or they want a real working kitchen. I mean,
I want something
depends.
working in the kitchen.
That's right. There you go. There you go. And spa baths are real popular right now too.
What about outdoor type living? Because I know that's going to be extremely popular. You see outdoor kitchens. You're seeing small, what I call cocktail pools. And
you had mentioned patio garden type stuff here. So elaborate on that.
Outdoor living is really important, and it's important to entertaining as well. And so all of our homes have covered porches, but then all of our homes have the option to extend, and we call it the outdoor living extension, where we can put the summer kitchens in, the fireplaces in, do the ceilings in 1x6 tongue of groove, stain it. Just a really, really outside neat environment.
Yeah, that's what I like. They're giving out free Porsches. That's pretty cool.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
Really. And you also got those new cocktail pools that you're starting to see in some of these areas as well. And that's sort of expands the outdoor living as well, without having to have this big maintenance of a big pool, but still have some place you can go and refresh yourself.
Which, for the Rat Pack audience, not to be confused since our listeners are familiar with us, it's not cocktails in the pool. It's cocktail pools.
Yes.
That is correct.
Difference.
Yeah. I'm glad you clarified that, Joe.
And we are all straight.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
Our producers are shaking their heads. It's like, oh gosh.
We hadn't got actually just snort
Not,
that.
to quote Seinfeld, not there's anything wrong with that.
Yes.
That's anything wrong. But usually in a patio home, are they considered zero lot lines, or they have sides yards, or?
These homes have a zero lot line with a 10-foot side yard, and then the backyard can vary depending on lot size. But typically, that's what this buyer wants: is not a whole lot of yard, but a really nice house they can entertain in. But they can extend their living out to the exterior with covered porches, mosquito systems, screen-in porches. Those are all real popular with pergola built-ons, and so the whole outside it takes on a whole different meaning. And with maintenance included in a lot of our communities, all they have to worry about is maybe putting in some color, maybe changing out some plants, and not having to worry about fertilization, mowing, and edging and trimming.
So
all the stuff I hate.
In Cross Creek, talk about your price point. Where did you start?
In Cross Creek, we're at from $270 to $350, and it is a beautiful program. It's a neighborhood called The Pond, and it's surrounded by kind of an estuary of landscaping and wildlife. So it's a phenomenal area. It's just taken off for us, and we've got a beautiful model out there called the Impera.
I think we need to go out there, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've been out there. I've seen them actually.
Well, that's your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's all that area is mine. That is correct.
And
right
so
there.
I understand also that the landscape maintenance is a part of the association cost and things like that. Or tell me how that works.
In Cross Creek, it's not, but in Imperial and in Riverstone, it is.
Okay.
So it's an assessment that you pay, but it's really affordable for the whole year.
That's the one thing I decided to do a long time ago. I find out I'd much rather ride my Harley on a Sunday than do the lawn.
Right.
So I decided that was probably the best gift I gave to myself, was to let somebody else do it. And they did a better job.
Well, the other thing is you don't have to worry about when your other neighbor does their lawn, because they're all done at once. So nobody's up at 7 on Sunday with a weed whacker and the blower.
Well, that makes a huge difference. We need to go out to Imperial and take a look at that.
And how many communities are you building in right now?
Right now I'm in 3 with a grand opening coming up in a couple of weeks for Reisner Woods, which is our 80-foot estate product that will be on lots 80 by 175.
Okay.
Wow,
in Katy School District, Cinco Ranch High School. So it's a phenomenal area.
And what would the price point be out there?
Price point will be in the 7s.
In the 7s, right like that. Well, be sure to. I'm giving you my card there, so you can be sure to invite me to that grand opening. I might let Chris come out with me.
Absolutely.
So
and we tell everybody out there, it's really good stuff. Great, great areas to go to. Obviously, you're building right now in Riverstone and Imperial, in the pond at Cross Creek Ranch out there in the Fulshire area, and then coming up is Reisner Woods right there in Katy. Those are 4 hot markets right now. I mean, you can't really get any hotter than those 4 when it comes to Houston.
And Steve, if people get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
They could get a hold of us on our website and click on the link to contact us, and we've got a great representative named Rodney Jordan who will entertain you as well as hopefully guide you in the right direction. But to get in those 4 hot areas, it's all about partnering with the developer and believing in their vision, and they believe in us from an execution standpoint. So it's a good mix, and then you bring on excellent real estate agents with Linda and Todd, and it's just a really great mix.
We tell you, it's a perfect storm.
I know you guys have Linda was mentioning in between breaks that you guys have a deal that's working right now.
Yes, sir. Imperial is a phenomenal infill area, and that's Imperial and Sugarland, and we're in probably the mid-5s there, and then after upgrades and everything the buyers really dream of doing, it's 600,000 to 700,000.
When we're up against a break right now, but when we come back, let's talk more about that.
Absolutely,
Let's
everyone.
all talk about it.
We are coming up against a break right now, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Round the corner, could that some